myself, Louise Power. This show is about community matters, diversity and inclusion, a platform for women, leadership, entrepreneurship and inspirational stories. I'm so sorry we was late today. A bit of a kerfuffle with the trains and the delays. I'm very honoured today to have my awesome, wonderful cousin, or should I say AKA sister cousins, in the studio with me today. I have my cousin Natalie Power in the studio with me today. I also have two of my cousins virtually today, Sharnika Power and Laurie-Anne Power. And I think we're waiting for Laurie-Anne Power to connect. I'm just going to let my studio guys know that, yeah. Can you hear me okay? No?
I can't hear you through the headphones.
Through the headphones, yeah, fine. I think, Sharnika, can you hear us?
I can hear, yeah. Can you hear me?
Oh, you can hear us, yeah. I'm just waiting my technician's coming in. I can't hear her. I can't hear anything through here. Yeah. Yeah, so thank you so much for joining. Thanks, Nat, for coming in the studio. I know all of us have got such crazy schedules. I don't even know how we've done it, guys. Honestly.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here again. We were here, I think it was last year, was it? Was it the year
before?
Wow, the pandemic has really stolen time. So it's a pleasure to be here again, and again with other members of my wonderful family too.
And Nick, so you've just flown in from the USA, so
yeah.
we're lucky to have you here sitting with us, because I know your trip back to the UK is only temporary.
Yeah, it is. I've been back for a couple of days.
We can't hear her, can we? He's working on that. So Nat, how's things been the last couple of years? Do you want to just while they're sorting out the technical difficulties in the background as to why we can't hear the others virtually? How has things been in the last couple of years since you were sitting in the hot seat here on the Power Hour?
I can say that since obviously the pandemic was official from March 2020, and I can say personally, since March 2020, I have not stopped working. In fact, for those people who don't know what I do, which obviously we're going to speak about later, I work in social care. I am a registered manager of children's homes. I'm a consultant. I am also service manager. So I am, working in that setting during the pandemic, you can imagine, was extremely stressful, but also at the same time, I can honestly say very rewarding. And also my growth during that time has been, sort of to look back to where we were coming from. We opened one of our children's homes during the pandemic. So that was a very challenging time, to say the least. So it was definitely a busy time for me professionally. So, I'm grateful that I had the experience to work during such a challenging time.
Yeah, I was just about to ask you, what was the biggest challenge during that period?
The biggest challenge, I think, was just keeping everybody safe, and children's mental health, not just children, my staff, mental health during that period, to keep everybody from going crazy during that period, was very, very difficult. And it was a massive challenge for myself, my team, my directors, a big challenge, but we made it.
But you made it. Yeah. The last time we was here, life was so different. We wasn't thinking about like COVID, the pandemic, everything was so normalized, and just realized how privileged we really was at that time. Even family, like we're all here today and we're all family, but it's been such a long time. We used to like see each other so much, and then there was that period where even as family, we didn't even get to see each other.
No, that's right. And again, the things that we took for granted, or we take for granted, or I think the pandemic has changed the way that we view time with each other, telling people how much you care for them, because unfortunately for some of us, we did lose people during that period. And thoughts and prayers go out to all those people that did lose loved ones, friends during that period. But again, I think we've had to relearn how to live again in a different way. And that's, I think everybody's experienced that in some way. The pandemic touched everybody in some shape in some form, in some way.
Absolutely. I'll just check in. Sharnika, can you just say something? Because I think we've got a little bit, I don't think I can still hear you. So, and I can see Laurie-Anne's in the background. So I'm going to take a quick 1 minute break.
Can anybody hear
and give an opportunity to connect in with the background, because I'm not sure why I've got my other guests in the virtual background and we can't hear them. So I'm going to take a quick commercial break for 1 minute and we'll be right back. Do not touch that dial. You are locked into Revive FM 94.0 on the Power Hour.
If you want to advertise your business,
can anyone hear me?
then visit www.revivefm.co.uk.
No one can hear me.
Alternatively, contact our sales team now on
Anybody hearing me?
44 56 5616. That's 079 44 56
Hello, can anyone hear me?
5616.
Turkish Kitchen, the best Turkish food you'll ever taste. We only use the highest quality meat. Along with our mixed grill platters, we serve cold mezes, hot mezes, lahmacun, and a wide selection of fish options. To order for delivery or collection, call us now on 0208 507 8822. That's 0208 507 8822. Or visit us at 41 Ripple Road, Barking, IG11 7NT. We can also take group bookings and take care of all your party needs. The Turkish Kitchen, Barking.
Looking to get your finances in order? MR Accountants has you covered. We provide a full range of accountancy and taxation services, including annual and management accounts, self-assessment tax returns, VAT, bookkeeping, and payroll services. We ensure you're kept up to date with the latest legislation, and our client-focused approach helps us plan your business finances from savings to investments. We are MR Accountants. Visit our website at mraccountants.com or call us on 0203 432 9138.
Through your hands, we can shape the future. By supporting an orphan, by quenching someone's thirst, by empowering people through life-changing livelihood projects, by responding to those in urgent need. The future lies in your hands. Muslim hands, united for the needy.
Minhaj School of Islamic Sciences provides quality Islamic education for children aged between 5 and 15 years old. As well as teaching classical Islam, including Tajweed, Fiqh, Seerah, and Aqidah, we endeavor to equip children with essential Islamic manners, morals, and values. Here at MSIS, our experienced teachers create an inspirational learning environment where we strive to cater for the needs of every child. For enrollment inquiries, inquire in person at Minhaj School of Islamic Sciences, Monday to Friday, 5 to 7 p.m. at 292-296 Rumford Road, or email admin.edu_London@minhajuk.org.
Does your pizza excite you? The London Pizza Depot invites you on a journey with our worldwide inspired pizzas. To the smoke and jerk drums of Jamaica, to savor the Caribbean hot, to sunny California, to enjoy the greatest invention, the Cali cheeseburger. Transport yourself with every bite. Our authentically prepared hand-stretched dough, freshly diced veg, finest cuts of halal meat, and our 100% mozzarella cheese ensures the delivery of a masterpiece every time. Visit www.londonpizzadepot.co.uk or our branches in Ilford or Plaistow. Now you can enjoy buy one pizza, get one free every Tuesday. T's and C's apply.
Thinking of selling or letting your property? Need someone reliable to find the best prospect for your home? Well, look no further. Cameron Adams is here to take care of all your needs. Our professional and experienced team will guide you through the entire process and ensure you find the right client for your property. For a no obligation quotation, contact us now on 0208 558 2000. That's 0208 558 2000. Or visit us at 30 Church Lane in Leytonstone. Cameron Adams, always at your service.
Revive FM
94.0 on the radio,
on your mobile,
and online.
Hello, good afternoon. You are locked into Revive FM 94.0 on the Power Hour with your host today, myself, Louise Power. This show is about community matters, diversity and inclusion, a platform for women, leadership, entrepreneurship, and inspirational stories. And I'm so sorry about the technical difficulties beforehand. We've had the trains today, and now we've had technical difficulties in the studio. I am so honored to have my cousin sisters here with me on the Power Hour. Thank you so much. I have Natalie Power for you again in the studio with me today. I have Laurie-Anne Power coming in virtually, and I have Sharnika Power as well coming in virtually. Thank you so much for joining me, guys.
Hi, Lou. Good afternoon,
Can you
everyone.
hear us all right?
Yeah, I can hear you clearly.
But
yeah.
we can't hear her, all right, can we?
No.
Oh, you can't?
Is your volume all the way up?
Yeah, let me just check. 1 second. Can you hear me now? No?
Yeah, so I'm getting, some people are writing on there. I can hear, oh, right. So I can hear everybody well, but we can't hear them. Okay. All right. So Natalie, you can knock the window, maybe, just tell them that we can't hear them. So yeah, it's awesome to have you here today. We've had these technical difficulties here. And before going on for a break, Natalie was talking to us. You can hear us. Yeah, but we can't hear you.
Can you hear me?
Not hear me now?
You can't hear me?
No, we can't hear you.
I can hear.
I don't know why.
Sharnika as well.
You can hear us, but we can't hear you. Yeah, they're looking into it. So I'm so sorry. It looks like something technical here, because we're okay here in the studio. We can hear each other, but we can't hear you guys virtually. Yeah. Yeah. Did he say?
So he's just trying to sort out the technical difficulties. So they're just trying to get to the bottom of why we can't hear in the studio. So I think while we're waiting for them to get to the bottom of it,
we'll just carry on. I know, and Laurie-Anne is, and for those of you who don't know, my Laurie Power, my cousin, she's a QC and she's currently working away out of London. So we're just hoping that everything does work so that we can hear from her. And also my cousin Sharnika, she's working away. She's a director, she's working away. So we hope we can both hear from them today before they have to go back for after lunch. So before the...
Can you hear us now?
We can hear you.
No.
Can you hear us?
Oh my gosh, we can hear them.
Oh, hi there. Okay.
I can't believe it.
And then there was light.
And then there was light. And then there was power.
All right, great. So we can hear.
We can hear.
Sharnika,
Right.
can you hear us?
I can hear.
I can't believe it, guys.
All right.
This
Right.
someone asked me. Well, the title is "What's Your Superpower?" Mine is definitely, I don't know how.
Definitely not technology.
So Natalie's already introduced herself. If you guys would introduce yourself for us today, that would be really great. Thank you. So Sharnika, Laurie-Anne, if you could introduce yourself.
Okay, so my name's Laurie-Anne Power. I'm Natalie's sister, your cousin Lou, obviously, and Sharnika is my daughter. And I am a criminal barrister, currently in Sheffield. And yeah, thanks for having me.
You're welcome. And Sharnika?
Hi guys, I'm Sharnika Power. Yep, cousin above, aunt to the right, and mother to the side of me. And I am, I guess, first and foremost, I'd say I'm a poet and a writer. That's sort of my passion. It's what drives me. It's what fuels me. And my regular job is as a communications director, but my passion is really producing work that benefits our community as a whole, whatever medium that's through, usually through poetry and playwriting. However, as a communications director, I work with clients and causes that contribute to that overall goal. So yeah, that's me, Sharnika Power.
Thank you, Sharnika. And talking about what inspires you, this is International Women's Month, so it's a beautiful and fantastic month for me to have you here, for me to celebrate you in your uniqueness as a wholeness, as a family, and just all the wonderful things that it is that you all do individually and the things that we do together. And Laura, if you can just, Laurie-Anne, you've had some fantastic news lately, and it'll be wonderful if you can share that with us. Then it'd be great to hear a little bit about you, Sharnika, and what you've been doing, but you've just flown back into the country. And then I know we all want to go on and speak about our wonderful matriarch and continue with the agenda. So I'll go over to Laura just to talk about her fantastic news, the honour of becoming a QC, and if you could just tell us a little bit about, obviously, over the last couple of years, your journey.
So, yeah, I am one of, I think, about 50 Queen's Counsel that were appointed by the Queen this year to become a member of basically Queen's Counsel. So it basically means after you've done a considerable number of years being a barrister, 22 for me, I've been a barrister 22 years,
Wow.
you can be considered for, you have to apply and go through a process, a quite rigorous process of being assessed and considered to become one of Her Majesty's Council, which is a hand-picked select number of people who only now deal with the most serious cases in the country. So cases like murder, terrorism, very serious offences that really affect and impact on the state and on the country as a whole. So it's an honour, of course, for me to have been selected. But actually, one thing that has really come back at me is that it's probably something that I should have done a while ago. And I really think that sometimes being a woman, and sometimes being a woman, particularly a woman of colour, we don't often recognise just how good we are. And we sometimes require validation from other people. And so the lesson that I've learned really from this process, it takes about 3 or 4 or so years to apply and become Queen's Counsel, because it's an assessment of a number of cases and references from a number of judges and your colleagues, and then an assessment at the end of it. And one thing that I've taken away from it, and one thing that I am now passing on to other women, particularly women of colour within the profession, is that when you feel ready to apply. Don't wait to be validated, to be called, to be told. And I think that as women, we're recognising more and more that we go toe to toe. And actually, this is the first year in history that women have been appointed in the same numbers as men. I think it's almost a 50-50 split, about 50% split between men and women being appointed Queen's Counsel. I am, I think, number 7 Black female counsel. So we've got a long way to go in terms of really making up the race, bringing the race up to the gender diversity statistics. But as this is International Women's Day, I feel those are statistics that are a win for all of us as women, because it's about upholding and trying to promote each other. So, really, I think that's COVID was a very difficult time. And what I decided to do during COVID was actually, for the first time, I was able to sit down and take a breath and think about what it is that I wanted to do in next steps. And I said, actually, I'm going to just do this for myself. And what I recognize is actually, far from doing it for myself, I've done it for a lot of other women who are now saying, oh, wow, that's amazing. If you can do it, I think I can do it as well. I am so, like, in the words of my friend Patrice, so proud of you. Like, I'm so proud of you. And I know we're all so proud of you. And you said something at the beginning there about, wanting perhaps to do it earlier. And what, I think a lot of women, we've spoken in a group together about imposter syndrome or those self-doubts that we have. What are some of the things, guys, you think that, that make us have these imposter syndromes, that make us feel as though, can we do it? And we question ourselves. What are some of those things you think that
I would say that I think it's sort of historical, sort of seeing the role models being there, and sometimes not being there, not at sort of representation as well. I think somebody like Laurie-Anne, for instance, now, Black female QC, that's representation. That's for other young girls or women to see that it's possible. And I think we need, more representation. I think in terms of the imposter syndrome and us kind of having that self-doubt, I think there's many reasons why it's there. But I think what's kind of clear for me to see now is that we are empowering each other. There's a lot more empowerment of women. International Women's Month is just a small area of us empowering each other and supporting each other. And I think that that's something that will give people the power to believe in themselves. And I think we need to push that for our young girls and women wear lots of different hats, mothers. It's almost as though you've got to pick a struggle pick a course. If you're going to be a mum, you're going to be a mum. If you're going to be a professional, but actually we can do it all. You know,
I like that.
We're super women.
I like that. Sometimes the people think that you need to be pigeonholed,
Yeah.
but actually if you're creative and, you know, and we do it all. We do balance the motherhood and everything else and our careers and all of our creative side. And Sharnika, you know, talking about doing it all, you know, you've been in the UK, you've been in New York, and, you know, being the youngest of the bunch as well, I'd like to ask you, you know, where you get your superpower, where you get your strength and your resilience to overcome some of these imposter syndromes that, you know, your mum spoke about and, you know, that we've all spoken about as women in the family.
Yeah, I mean, I luckily come from a family of strong women, as you can see from you three, but obviously you three are part of a much larger picture. And I'm very, very fortunate to have all these women who have come before me who have sort of navigated all the things I'm navigating already. Even I'm sure people watching this are thinking, oh, she looks too young to be my mother. But having had such a young mother and getting to watch her path so closely. And, you know, she says she's been doing this for 22 years now as a lawyer. I just turned 27 the other day. So to say I've been there every step of the way is, you know, not an exaggeration. So to then see this come to fruition, it shows us really that everything is possible with hard work, and watching all of you guys work so hard, again with Auntie Nat from so young to now being the manager and sort of running her ship, coming on as, do you know what I mean, coming on just a passenger to now running it. You sort of see that with hard work, nothing is impossible. And with the imposter syndrome, I think, especially again for women of color, we've had to in the past assimilate so heavily in order to get to these positions. You know, we've had to almost assimilate out of ourselves, out of our womanhood, or out of our blackness, out of our whatever it is. And so to see people now achieve these things without having to compromise themselves so heavily, so to reach positions like Queen's Counsel or any of these high positions and not compromise your integrity, you know, stay true to your blackness, and manage to maintain your womanhood, again, maintain your role as a mother, and all of these things. It shows us that we can have it all, and in fact we don't have to assimilate out of ourselves in order to achieve it, and which then kind of combats this feeling of always feeling like an imposter, because, you know, you go to work every day, you have to be something else in order to achieve what your peers are achieving, and the long-term effect of that is this imposter syndrome, is who I am truly or authentically me isn't good enough to achieve these things. I have to then be someone else to achieve them. And so that you know, that's really compromising. And I think a lot of people from my generation, I watch them struggle with these kind of thoughts and feelings. And some of them, I watch them succumb to these thoughts and feelings to the points where they don't have the identity that they should, you know, or the connection to their identity that they should, because they've had to compromise themselves and achieve what they've achieved. Whereas being rooted in the family that I'm rooted in, the Power family, you know, I feel like it's not a coincidental name. Being rooted in a family of such powerful women, and see them not only achieve what they've achieved, but achieve it whilst being true to their ideologies, to their beliefs, to what we've been taught as children coming up, to being taught, you know, the importance of loving and respecting our blackness, our heritage, our identity, our womanhood. So being able to see people achieve and stay true to all of those things, I think has combated, for me and a lot of people of my generation, a lot of these feelings of being an imposter. Yeah, or like we refuse to be gaslighted.
If you don't feel powered up after hearing that, I don't know what to say. Because
Sharnika's point, it's so interesting because I've never actually heard her articulate a reaction to imposter syndrome in that way. And I had a real dilemma when Sharnika was very young. I had a real dilemma. Do I send her to a school where she fits in, or do I send her to a school where she potentially stands out? And even though the imposter syndrome, sorry?
She chose the latter.
I did choose the latter. I chose the latter for a number of reasons, but I was concerned that she would have to compromise who she truly was in order to fit in. And what she actually did, and this is absolutely no credit to me whatsoever, this is all credit to her. What she actually did was bring a very foreign and alien environment to her, around to her way of thinking. And she educated them on her culture and on her values as a young Black child still live within an urban area. And so as opposed to going in and feeling like an imposter, she actually went in and was able to feel empowered. And so we sometimes are reluctant to put ourselves or our children in environments where we think that they are not going to, she says, assimilate to the norm. And I think part of being a woman is about being brave. And it's about putting our toe and our foot into those environments where we might feel as though it's going to be hostile. And let me tell you, being the 7th Black woman Queen's Counsel in the country is a very worrying and frightening, even for me after so long. It is. But because when I came to the bar as a woman of colour 22 years ago, I was still one of few. I know what the experience is like, and we have to go through it to get through it. We can't go around it or above or underneath it. We literally have to go through it. And actually the most empowering thing for me as a woman, this being International Women's Day, was having a daughter of my own, because it made me realise that there are no shortcuts. You have to go through this. And that's what we now try to do. I think all of us collectively as a family is we bring each other through. And I don't think that this past 5 years or so has our individual successes. We've got cousins who are training to be a nurse, one who's just qualified as a midwife, my sister Natalie, who is now heading up her own businesses in the care industry, Sharnika, who's flown off, you Louise, who has your own radio show. This is not because one of us is successful. It's because collectively we bring each other along with us. And one person's success is an indicator to the other person that success is achievable, but it's more achievable when we do it together.
And I agree, and I think I can second that. I think myself and Laurie-Anne have been having these conversations whilst she's declared to us that her great news, and actually she made some, I never really thought of it how she was thinking again, but then when I think about it, she was saying, all of us are a part of that journey for her. She as a collective, even though she, the train journeys to the ends of the country in the morning, I'm there with her in the mornings,
I phone her at 6
o'clock. I used to come library with you as well. Do you remember? I was there.
It's those conversations in the morning when I say to her, I don't know how you are in Bristol every day, 4-hour train journeys, but we do it together. I stay on the phone to her for an hour and a half in the morning. It's doing it together. It's that support. And same with me, we've always supported each other, and we've done the same for each other's children, cousins. We are there for that journey together. And I think that's when we share the successes, when we have the successes, they're shared. For me, anything that I achieve, I share it with the people that have been there along the journey with me. So
it takes a village, doesn't it?
That's right.
It takes
if you're not, some people might be listening, Lou, to your show and be thinking, well, it's great for them. They've got, there's 5 sisters, and we don't even, like I was saying to my colleague at work yesterday, I didn't even realise that you was my cousin. I thought you was my sister until I was, because that's how much we grew together as and if you don't have, or you're not blessed or lucky enough to have a family like ours, where there are very strong women with a very strong matriarch at the head, call on your friend network. Go out there and source women. Find a mentor, find a mentee to pass it down to. The community is filled with women just like us. It doesn't matter what colour, shape, size, sexuality, religion, belief systems you are. Find a woman to align yourself with that has the same work ethic as you, or someone you want to emulate and to be like, and to help you along your journey. Because as you just said, Lou, it's not necessarily the biological connection. It's just finding a network of like-minded women to support you through what can sometimes be a very, very difficult life journey.
And I think as well, I can give an example. When I went for my Ofsted interview, which was, you get told this interview, you've got to pass it, you get one chance at it, and if you don't, you never ever can do it again. So just
I remember that. I couldn't believe that. I thought, wow.
Sitting in that room and, going through that process, and actually I was literally quaking in my boots, like, am I going to get through this? Like, again, a bit of imposter syndrome. Should I even be here? But at that moment, a woman of color walked into the room and said to me, take a deep breath and get used to being in rooms like this. This is where you belong. And that stuck with me. And I think that that's someone that I don't even know. But as a woman of color, I didn't need the validation, but she validated, which is something that I should have known. And I did deserve to be there.
Definitely. You deserve the seat at the table. Shirley Chisholm, if they don't give you a seat at the table, bring a folding chair. That is my favorite quote. And when I started my business and, I first went over to the Olympic Park and I had my office and I was working amongst like Barclays Bank and, I first got my first trustee board role, those feelings set in. I think this is bigger than me. But because of my strength, because of my family connections, because of the growing up with you guys and the conversations we have and the support that we give each other, innately, there's something within me that always keeps it going. There's something within me that where that superpower belongs. And, we bring our chair to the table. We know that there's a place, there's something that we're supposed to be doing.
And again, I think, Laurie-Anne's valid point about surrounding yourself, that is one of the lessons that I've learned in these past 2-3 years since stepping out of the education setting and coming into social care. I have learned it's the people that I've surrounded myself with that have really, really supported me. Obviously, my family, I'm blessed to have that support from my family, but there are certain women, and I mean men, but, there have been women, to mention a few names, Brenda, Tammy, Gamilla, who have supported me, stood by my side and taken me through that, supported me through that journey where I was not sure, doubts kicked in. But there are so many, there are so many of us that have people around us that do give us that support. And I think we, for those people who are feeling a little bit overwhelmed and feel that they don't have that support, if you look close enough, there's always somebody that will support you.
No, I love that. I love this advice, and I think there's so many people that are going to be inspired because people know, we're us, the Power family, but they don't know exactly what people do and just how close we are as well. Well, I'm sure that our friends know how close we are, but just sort of like giving that, it's inspiring, isn't it, to the community that we're a really close family and we support each other through what it is that we're doing. And we unfortunately we lost the matriarch of the family a few years ago. That's it's been such a difficult time. Vilma Power, our grandmother, our nan. That it's all of us have trying to individually and collectively as a family get through that. But one of the things that we all took from her was her resilience and her drive and her strength and just her determination coming here in that Windrush period, coming here and experiencing racism, coming here and wanting to give our parents and us a different experience and a different life, overcoming all of those challenges and hurdles and bottlenecks. And we saw her do that. And, that did give us some of the power that we have today, right?
I would agree. I think that, in our respective families as well, we have Velma, we have my mum, Queenie, who is a star. Obviously, there's your mum. I'm a mum, and as a mother, I think, for Vilma, Nan, as we call her, she faced a lot of hurdles, and I think one of the things that I can say about her is that she allowed us to learn from her and those hurdles and those experiences that she had. Again, generationally, we're changing some of the narratives by doing things differently, even though she set the way, and also my grandparents on the other side, my grandma, Yulita, who's my mother's mum, they came over during that period as well. So I have two grandmothers who we look up to, as matriarchs, and actually, they went through a lot and we've learned a lot from what they experienced. But again, it's breaking cycles, it's breaking generational curses. Laurie-Anne, again, for me and my family, was the first person to obtain her degree. That again, for me, that was a big deal for us. Going to the bar was a big deal. It's, changing the narrative of, what was then and actually driving it forward to our children and, going to university, all of our, children going through getting their degrees and doing what they want, you know, in life. And there's, you know, the challenges are there, but they've got that power to jump those hoops and go through those hurdles.
Yeah.
The funny thing about both of her, I mean, Vilma in particular, because she was a larger than life character, but one thing that she did, and I think we perhaps, all of us collectively and individually, didn't appreciate at the time, but what she taught us was never to shrink down who we are because we are girls. And some women, consciously or subconsciously, feel that a woman needs to shrink down who she is in order to allow everything else to you know, develop and come bigger around her. And I think that what she did is she taught us that it's okay to make mistakes. It's okay not to be perfect. It's okay to make your presence felt. But I think most importantly, what she taught us was it is really important to enjoy life. And she was one, you know, when I used to say to my friends at school, I went to Madame Tussauds with my gran on the weekend, or my nan took me to carnival. Your nan? I mean, most of their nans couldn't get out of the sofa without help. Well, mine was doing some like dirty wine in the middle of the carnival. That's truly, you know, what, yeah, and that's what she would do every year. She taught us that life is for living, and that was in spite of huge adversity.
You've gone.
We can't hear you.
We can't hear you now.
Yeah, I'm sorry. A call came through, so I think when a call comes through, yeah. So she taught us about how big you can be as a woman, and I don't mean physically big. I mean that your silence can be just as big as your voice. Your presence can be just as big as your absence, and I think we felt the bigness and the largeness and the presence of her by her absence. Because I messaged your mum, Lou, the other day, and I said went for my fitting, and I said I messaged your mum because she's the closest thing to Nan for me. I know my dad's her first child, but from a woman's perspective. And I messaged her and said I really wanted to be able to send Nan this video of me getting fitted in, because she loved the Queen. I mean, the amount of time she took me to Buckingham Palace.
I know.
Me,
you both, all of us in it.
Together. Do you remember, Lou? We took pictures.
Yeah,
got the pictures.
You're outside.
Yeah. So I wanted to be able to send her.
Trafalgar Square.
Yeah.
She was the tour operator of the UK.
She was. She knew every nook and cranny of it, and so she laid the foundation for us to be the women that we are, by not shrinking down ourselves, not compromising who we are, being loud and being proud and being present.
No, she was there, right?
Yeah. I felt her. I felt her every step of the way. You know, and you know whatever your beliefs, your spiritual beliefs, whether you believe or not, her presence was there by her influence. You know, and so I think I say for women, just a last point, because I'm going to have to go and get back into court in a moment, but just on women who have children, and I had Sharnika when I was very, very young. I just was out of school, and often women think, well, I have to raise a family or raise my child, and then I can think about my career later. Please don't think like that. Your daughters are watching you. There is no need to compromise. You can be a great mum and be present and be involved, but you must put yourself first, because otherwise, then what is your child learning? So you don't have to compromise, and it's not easy. Yes, it's difficult. You can do both, but and I always say to my kids, don't expect me to be the mum that is there to do all of these things, but one and they know that. I'm telling them that. I said it to my son now, and he says, don't worry, mum, Car's already told me that you're never going to be there on time for parents' evening, but my limitations and my strengths, and they're watching. And so don't think I want to enroll on this degree course, but I can't do it until little Johnny's 5. You can do it, and you can make it work. There's so many resources out there that you can tap into that makes having a career, being a wife, being a mother, being a friend, all achievable at the very same time.
I know that Laurie-Anne, you're going to have to go. Now there's a hashtag at the moment, right, going around on LinkedIn. It's called Breaking the Bias, and it's like that. And they're speaking about the things for women where they're saying, about breaking the bias. And I would just want to ask you first, because I know you're going to have to shoot off. for me, when I first went into the industry, for example, started my entrepreneurship journey, and it started in tech. Of course, there was massive disparities for women, even more so for Black women. And I remember having a conversation in the space with somebody who thought I was in the wrong place. And actually, I was sitting in exactly where I was supposed to be. But because they didn't know, they didn't put together that I was the director and CEO of that organization. You didn't commute to them, because you cannot be what you cannot see. And they don't normally see people in those positions where I was. So can you just give a little bit of advice about what people can do to break those biases? Just a couple of lines about, being a woman and being interested in law or whatever, to break those biases. What would you say?
You just got to do it.
Yeah.
You just got to do it. Don't overthink it. Don't wait for anyone to give you permission. Don't seek permission from anyone. You've given yourself permission to do it. You just have to do it. And use your adversity as your tool, as your driving force. What I have learned about being, I don't ever really call myself a single parent, because my whole family raised Sharnika, so I don't call myself. But from being a young mum, that brings challenges, and when you're met with challenges, you develop skills to overcome those challenges. You use the challenges the skills that you develop when dealing with challenges as your tools. Most people within the profession that I'm in, for example, will not identify with any kind of challenge that we go through as women from our communities, which means you have the upper hand. Use what your perceived weaknesses are as your strength, and just do it. Don't wait for validation. Times are changing. The landscape is changing. And, when someone says to you that you're in the wrong seat, when someone says to you that you're in the wrong seat, you don't say you're not in the wrong seat. You say, this is my seat. This is my seat. And I'm at the table, and, go and find a seat and come sit next to me if you like and learn something.
Exactly what I done. And for you guys, right? Because I know we're coming, so what is your superpower? Yeah, because that was exactly mine at the time. And actually, sometimes my superpower changes day by day. It depends on what's going on. But what is your superpower? I'll go to Sharnika. What is your superpower, Sharnika?
It's a hard question. I'd say that the cliche of me being a woman, I mean, I really connect with it. I think there's different parts of your identity that you can connect with on different levels. It's kind of up to you. But for example, I feel like the narrative has been for women that we are sort of this marginalized, oppressed group to the side. But when we really acknowledge we're not marginalized, we cannot be marginalized. We are half the population. Society cannot move without us. So it's very important. Once you know your power, that is it. I think knowing my power is my superpower. So I know my potential. I know my capabilities. I know my capacity as a woman of color, as an educated woman. So when I enter a room and I'm underestimated, which happens to me, it's gonna happen, right? So when I walk into a room and I'm underestimated, that's an opportunity for me. That's an opportunity for me to push back. It's an opportunity for me to open the door for the next woman who walks in who looks exactly like me, so you don't second guess her. Do you know what I mean? So it's very much, I have one example. When I first went to a job interview straight out of university in New York, I was wearing my St. Andrews jumper because I went to St. Andrews for university. And he said to me, oh, St. Andrews, isn't that like a fancy British uni? I said, I guess a bit, because it had the reputation at the time where William had met Kate. It had gone to America. It hit the mainstream. And he said to me, oh, well, who'd you steal that hoodie off of? Steal the jumper. And it knocked me. It was like it was my early introduction into the work world, and it knocked me. But also, he had my CV in front of him right there at the table. And I just said, if you just look down at the top of my CV, you'll just see my credentials there, St. Andrews, and my master's degree and my grade. And he just looked down, and I mean, I think it's very important. Once you know your power, no one can take it away from you. So there was no leeway there for me to second guess myself based on his comment, because I know I've just come from and graduated and I'm here. So you can second guess me, you can doubt me. But as long as I don't doubt myself, then what you're doing has no real effect. It's not going to affect my trajectory. Do you know what I mean? And it's very important. I think a lot of what people do when they try and sort of knock you down or throw these biases at you is to knock you off your path. You know, they're trying to, if you're heading to the top, someone is going to try and knock you back down, and especially into the position they believe has been constructed for a woman. So if you are breaking out of that mold, that is when you're going to get attacked the most. You get what I'm saying? So you are challenging the norm and the status quo that society revolves around, that a woman can only be in this position, and you are breaking out of it. Know that you're going to be attacked. So when you're attacked, you know, see that as an opportunity. See that as an indication that you are on the right path, that you are doing the right thing. Don't let it knock you back. Don't let it do what it's designed to do. And know your power, because, yeah, like I said, knowing your power is your superpower. You know your power. No one can take your power away from you because it's yours. No one knows it like you. It's like a dog. Once it's your dog and you know the dog, who's nurturing you, who's nurturing your talents, no one can take that. You know, you see the dog 5 years later, someone sold it 5 years ago, still going to run up to you in the street. So I feel like it's a bit like that. You got to really know yourself, know your identity, know your power, know your roots, know who you are. Try and before you get to know anyone else, especially you're in your 20s, we go out there. Oh, I want to get to know this person. I want to get to know this industry. I want to get to know guys. I want to get to know you, and then go from.
That sounds like I said to you.
I was just like power. I'm just like, woo! Do you know something? And this we have to do this again. What is your superpower? I feel like it's something that we need to do on a regular basis. If we're doing it monthly, if we're doing it bi-monthly, if we're doing it quarterly, because I just feel like it's such it's great for us to be able to have this platform and actually just to, you know, we haven't even got into our lives yet. Do you know what I mean? We're just touching the surface. We haven't even got into the deepness of anything yet. Nat, what is your superpower?
I think Sharnika touched on it. I think I had an experience, again, just a small, very second sort of anecdotal. I got my new job after leaving education, after working in education for a really long time. It took me a long time to move on from it. And when I did, I was kind of lost. I was like, oh my God, you know, I'm out in the world. What am I going to do?
Yep.
And obviously I went into social care and rose up through the ranks quite quickly. And when I did finally become an Ofsted registered manager, I was on a phone call to somebody and somebody said, well, how did you get that then? And I got that by doing the work that I needed to do. And that, at that moment, made me realize that a few years before I had made a journey to work on myself, and knowing who I am is my superpower. I know exactly who I am, and that is my superpower.
I'm so sorry. He's waving at me in the background. Law, your superpower is. I think I know what your superpower is. Yeah, but I'm just going to let you just say it in one line quickly before they give me.
My superpower is determination.
Yeah, absolutely. And I would say, and my superpower changes every day, but absolutely resilience and determination, and, you know, having fantastic, wonderful women like yourselves and all of the other women in the power family behind me. Thank you so much. Thank you everybody for listening. We're going to have to come back and do a part 2, part 3, part 4.
Yeah. But Louise, you never spoke about your award.
Oh, I didn't.
And she did get an award, and she did receive an award, but we can't go into it.
I did. I received an award, and I brought it with me from the New York Bar Association, United Nations.
Yeah.
Show us.
Can you show us, please?
Come on, for the women.
Okay.
She got an award from the New York Bar Association.
I mean, that shows you the power of Lou. Look at that. That's amazing. Amazing, Lou.
From the United Nations, New York Bar Association. and I'll be talking on the 8th of March and in formal collection of this beautiful award. Yeah, so it's very special for all the work that I've done with women and girls in supporting them, women and her heroes. So, and you guys are my heroes. Thank you so much. People are clapping. Love you all so much. And please come back. We've just touched the surface. Please come back. Love you all. Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Take care. Bye. You have been locked into Revive FM 94.0 on the Power Hour. Please do lock in again. We are here bi-weekly on every other Thursday. And thank you so much for listening to the show. And sorry for the technical difficulties. Bye-bye. Keep safe.
This is Aisha.